Hello and welcome to Ether Practice. My name is Ashton. Our Ether practices are our mantra and meditation practices here at Alchemy. But I think it's important before we get started today to actually understand what we're doing when we meditate. I often hear from people the idea that meditation is hard and I have such a busy mind and it's so hard to quiet my mind, with a lot of people thinking that the point of meditation is to have an empty or a quiet mind. Now, if you were a monk or a nun, this would eventually be an easier and easier thing to do as you move away from the world, up to the mountain, up to the cave, up to the ashram, to sit and meditate all day. But if you're like me, you're living in the world, you have a family, you have a business, you have relationships, things that you're doing, the mind is constantly filling with new noise, new chatter, new thoughts about this or that, and then combining this thought with that thought and all these other things. And so if we were to sit down to meditate and think that the point is to try to get my mind to stop doing that, we're not going to be very successful in meditation and probably not do it for very long or very often. So what I want to understand is that the tradition that we come from, that we teach here at Alchemy, its views on what meditation actually is. What we're doing here is not looking to stop or even necessarily quiet the mind, but learn how to shift the priority of mind that for most of us, it's so prominent in our every moment awareness, and actually set it aside to experience what's happening underneath the activity of the thoughts. Now, for that, you don't need your thoughts to stop. At first, where the thoughts might be really loud and active and screaming at you, over time, through the practice, they get further and further away, and you can barely hear them. It's like someone's talking to you, and all of a sudden you submerge underneath water. You can still hear them in the distance, but it's muffled and off away, because you don't want necessarily to have an empty, quiet mind all the time. It's great if you're living in the world that has a mind that's filled with creativity and ideas and going from here to there and back again. The problem is when we're attempting to be present with someone or something, and the mind interjects with all sorts of stories, problems, and complications and everything else. Now, the capacity we have to shift those thoughts aside, not to eliminate them or suppress them, but to shift them aside to see what's happening underneath, we can find embodied in an energy we call Ganapati or Ganesha. Now, there's all sorts of stories and imagery associated with this being Ganapati, but our understanding is that this is simply an aspect of ourselves. So we're going to work with some of this energy today with a few mantra and mudra as a means of connecting into our own inner capacity to set aside all the noise so that we can experience the steadiness, the stability of self, even amidst all of the chatter and activity that we might be experiencing in our lives. So there's no necessity in removing yourself from life, going up to the cave. You don't need to retreat or transcend your life, your relationships, or anything else. It's learning to experience that which is happening underneath all of the activity. So, to get started today, make sure that you're sitting comfortably. You could sit on a chair. I would encourage you to sit forward from the back of the chair to avoid slouching. You could sit on the floor, on a cushion or a pillow, cross-legged, or however you like. You could lay down, but generally we discourage laying down simply because it's easier to fall asleep, unless that's something that you want to do, and then of course that's fine. But otherwise, we want to try to sit upright for as much as we can. Once you've found a comfortable seated position, whatever that might look like in your body, I encourage you to place your hands on your lap or your legs and settle your eyes closed. Take a moment first to simply arrive, whatever space you happen to be in. Become aware of all the various qualities of the moment. Sounds, sensations, feelings. But what you're likely to notice is that over time, you've been habituated through your mind to grab those things that you notice and fixate on them. So the mind will narrow down into a particular thought or sound, start to create a story about it. I like this sound. I don't like this sound. This is a good sensation. This is a bad sensation. And before you know it, you're completely disconnected from being because you're lost back in thought and inner dialogue again. So, essential in our practice is our capacity to direct awareness. And to do so, to start, I'm going to shift awareness specifically to the breath. Bring awareness to your inhalation and your exhalation. As you become aware of all the various sensations of your breath, begin to specifically and deliberately direct awareness to the rest of your physical body. You can send it through your vital organs, to your heart and its beat. Send it to your digestive organs. Send it down your legs and your arms, through your muscles and your joints and your bones and ligaments and tendons. Invite awareness up through the front of your body and back, all the way up through your neck and head. As you feel awareness having lit up and saturated your physical body, direct awareness to your subtle body, which for some might mean energy flows and fields, but could also simply mean bringing awareness to your feelings, your emotions, and even your thoughts. To acknowledge any of the thoughts that are bubbling around just under the surface of things. As you invite awareness through the physical and through the subtle, eventually you can get no further than awareness itself. It forms the very base, the very foundation of all possible experience. So take a moment to acknowledge awareness as the base. And this awareness has a particular vibratory quality to it. As an audible sound, this vibration is Om. So as we attune ourselves to this awareness, this very base of our being, we're going to chant Om together. So I invite you to bring your palms to touch in front of your chest and heart. Take a full breath in and out. Inhale, fill up through your nose. Exhale out your mouth with a sigh. You can inhale together for Om. Make fists with your hands. Begin to gently tap all along your head, from the sides of your head, back of your head, top of your head. And imagine like you were breaking awareness free of all the habitual patterns of thought and thinking, any of the plans, worries, and concerns that might pull you away from the immediacy of this moment. Shuklam Bharadram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturpujam Prasanna Vadanam Dhyayat Sarva Vigno Prashantaye. You can release your hands back to your lap or to your legs. And bring awareness back to your breath. simply to experience what we could call meditation without support. To simply experience awareness itself as it's arising. To be aware of whatever it is that you're aware of. If you catch your mind starting to wander off, that first layer of support is to invite awareness back into your breath. The mind captivates awareness, starts to pull it off again into this thought or worry. No need to stop or control those thoughts. Simply take the awareness behind them and invite it back to the breath. We can add 2 additional layers of support in our practice. The first is a mudra, a gesture of the hands. To do this, interlace the fingers together, starting with the left finger, and place left pinky finger, and place the right pinky finger on top, then the left ring finger, right ring finger. Interlace all the fingers in such a way, and then close your hands together so you bend at the second knuckles. Once the palms are together, with the fingers bent and interlaced, cross your left thumb on top over towards the right hand, and cross your right thumb on top of the left. So they make a cross on top. This is the mudra of the lasso. This energy, which very much brings energy down into your hands and out of your head, helps us to capture those errant thoughts, those worries, those concerns that would otherwise pull us away. It really helps to steady us into being. With this mudra in hand, we're going to enunciate the bija mantra of Ganesha, of Ganapati, which is Gang. So tapping into that energy of ourselves as a primal vibration that helps to set aside all the distraction, all the plans and the worries, so that we can experience ourselves more fully in this moment. We'll chant this very simple mantra 5 times out loud. And you're encouraged, as you're watching this in the video, to chant it out loud with me. You could just listen, but you'll get a lot more from the practice if you actually join along. We'll chant it like we would an Om. It's long and it's slow. Feel it really resonate from the base of the body or the heart all the way up the head and beyond. And then after we chant 5 times, again, we will sit. So find your Pasham mudra, the mudra of the lasso. Settle your eyes closed if you would open them to see what we're doing with our hands. Take a full breath in and out. Inhale, fill up through your nose. Exhale out your mouth with a sigh. And we'll inhale for 5 repetitions of Gang. Gang. Ga. Last one. Notice any shifts, the clarity of your awareness. If you find the mind wandering, bring awareness back to your breath or to the inner vibration of the mantra of Gang. Take these two bija mantras that we have already used and expand upon them for our next mantra, which is a little bit longer. We're going to chant this mantra 108 times together. Again, you're encouraged to chant it along with me rather than just to hear it. And it's important in particular when experiencing mantra that you do chant it out loud for a significant amount of time before ever whispering it or bringing it completely on the inside. The mantra here is Om Gang, which you know already, Ganapataye Namaha. I know often people want to know what it is that they're saying. These mantras don't really have meaning like we would think. Meanings came after to help describe, but Om and Gang, Om being this very vibration of awareness, Gang being this potency of this energy that can set aside all of our distractions, everything we put in front of ourselves that prevents us from experiencing the fullness of ourselves in this moment. Ganapataye Namaha simply means reverence to Ganapati. Now, in a dualistic sense, Ganapati again is this elephant-headed child out there in the universe somewhere. But for us, we recognize this is simply a way of describing an energy that is within ourselves, that is our very selves. And we're saying reverence to that energy that can help set aside all my distractions, all the busyness, the plans, the worries, the concerns, not to eliminate those things, but to set them aside so that I can experience the fullness of myself and this moment. So again, we will chant Om Ganganapataye Namaha 108 times out loud. It's okay if you fumble around with it a little bit or the pronunciation isn't perfect to start. It's something that you will, if you choose to continue the practice, develop over time. And once we've finished our 108 rounds, we'll continue to sit. So if you need to adjust your body in any way to get comfortable, feel free to get comfortable. Settle your eyes closed if you haven't already. We'll begin. Om Ganganapadaye Namaha. 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 Om Ganganapataye 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 Namaha. Notice any shifts in your awareness, space. If there are thoughts or sounds out in the periphery somewhere, you can experience that grounded presence of awareness. We can realize that our various practices of meditation are simply an opportunity to experience that which is underneath all the activity happening. We start to recognize that it's the same practice when our eyes are open and we're experiencing the world itself. Not to need to escape from the world or live in a constant experience of peace on the outside. But amidst all that activity, all the swirlings and happenings of life, to experience the peace that is on the inside. As we opened our practice with Om, we will close our practice and transition into the next phase of practice with AYM, A-I-M. So if you'd like, I invite you to bring your palms to touch in front of your chest and heart. Take a full breath in and out. Inhale, fill up through your nose. Exhale out your mouth with a sigh. We'll inhale all together for AYM, A-I-M. Thank you for joining us in this practice today. I hope you have a very clear, very present moment. Anugrahitosmi.